feel the same way about Masechaba. When you think of her, you think of someone who is so secure in themselves. There's nothing more beautiful than a woman who's like that. And I was expressing to Uti, you know, when we're young women, I'm a young person in the entertainment industry, and I'm not the most secure person as well. I have my flaws, where I look at myself and I think, can I actually pull this off? Can I actually speak to Masechaba? But I'm actually okay with that because I know that my courage and my character will take me through that. But with regards to her, I was like, wow, I really want to speak to a person who's got such a strong character and who really knows themselves. How would you literally describe yourself?
Wow. First and foremost, I would describe myself as an evolving being. So no 2 days are ever the same. And generally speaking, I am a confident person and I am self-assured and self-driven. And I'm content with who I am, therefore, for me, authenticity is everything. However, with that said, I am someone who's constantly striving to be a better person.
Sure.
The reason why I do exude an aura of assurance and confidence is probably because I've reached a stage in my life where I am unapologetic about who I am. And I know for sure that it's not about how many people like you, how many likes you get on social media. It's not about how many people are following you. It's actually about who you identify with, what your relationship is with yourself. And that ultimately will be the difference between you trying to chase happiness and you understanding that happiness is the journey. The journey is happiness. You have to be in a state of happiness in order to really get the most out of life, as opposed to trying to chase some type of external happiness that is fleeting. And when I say it's fleeting, I mean there's never any one thing that's going to make you happy. 1 minute you're going to get paid, you're going to be happy, your money's going to be finished, and then what's going to happen next? Are you going to be happy when you get a new boyfriend? Are you going to be happy when you get a degree? Are you going to be happy when you get your first house, your first car? Where does it stop? If it's not within, then for me, the person that I am today, as I describe myself, is someone who is completely content with herself.
I love this woman. Happiness, making happiness a state of being.
Yes.
And when you live it, you exude it. And you attract everything that is exactly like that.
You could have said it better, Viwe, because at the end of the day, no one wants to hang around someone with miserable energy.
Yes.
And in fact, there's a book that I love so much. I would give away a copy to every human in the world if I could. By Robert Greene. It's called The 48 Laws of Power. And it basically is a breakdown of human psychology and how to really be a powerful person and to own your power. The one that I particularly want to share with you has to do with an understanding of self so that you are able to relate better to the world, right? One of the things we tend to overlook as people is how our energies are highly influenced by the people around us. And one of the rules of power is never hang around the miserable, the unfortunate, or the unlucky. Yep. I'm sorry, it sounds insensitive, and it sounds very judgy, but if you don't get to the level in your life where you are that protective of your space, we are literally exchanging, in the way that we exchange bodily fluids when we're having unprotected sex and you can get a disease and die, we are literally exchanging spirits. We are transferring spiritual diseases to one another and you're not even aware. So be careful of the people that you keep around you, that you keep in your circle.
And I think it also goes down to loving yourself. You know, when you love yourself unconditionally and you are sure of who you are, you don't even want to be around those people. Exactly. You don't even attract those people.
Exactly.
Those people don't even think of being around you. You are here, they are here.
You will repel those people.
You repel them. And
yeah.
obviously the situations and circumstances around you obviously are a feedback mechanism for that. You spoke about reading. I'm a bookworm. I love reading. Yes. I spend most of my money on books than on shoes. I know.
That deserves a round of applause.
Yeah.
Come on! Yes! So when you think about reading, now those are labels. For people who believe in slave queens, this is the slave queen right here.
Yes.
Thank you.
education. We are at the University of Johannesburg, and we are predominantly joined by SPRA. Any SPRA people in the house? This is the Public Relations Association. This is the Students Public Relations Association. They helped us put this amazing event together. So when we're speaking about, give yourselves a education, especially in the times that we're living in, right? A lot of people feel, especially with the courses that you guys do, PR, media, you know those subjects, so they're like, why do you have to go to school for marketing? You can just market yourself on social media, right? I have a BCom marketing honors from UJ, so I know I get
now
that.
Men have been blowing their own horn. We can afford to do it.
I know you majored in PR and journalism.
Yes, I did.
Right?
And video broadcasting.
So with the times of social media and living in a digital era, a lot of people say we don't need to go to school. There are other ways that we can have the skill practically, and we don't have to go to school. So what's your take on that? When people say, I don't need to go to school. I can just do this on my own, open a social media account and call myself a PR practitioner and who specializes in social media.
My take on that is that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to education and how we acquire it. So the fact of the matter is that in South Africa, even if every single student qualified or graduated from high school with a university exemption and had the budget to actually pay for their school fees, there are not enough universities in South Africa to capacitate the youth who are coming into their first years. So already that's out of the question. There's not even enough universities to capacitate the students who have bursaries, for instance. I mean, this is why we're seeing a crisis when it comes to higher education. So when it comes to your journey, I think it's all about what you know is right for you. So I didn't allow a lack of education to stop me. Due to financial constraints, I was not able to finish school. I don't have a degree. And most people who look at me think I've got a bachelor's, I have a PhD, I've been Dr. Ndlovu while I'm at it. Yeah, I'm calling it, yes. But I've gone about it the other way around. So when I was forced to drop out of school, I made sure that I got immediately into the working environment. I was a hustler, I was a waitress, I was a receptionist, I sold alcohol, I did everything in my power to fund my dreams. And I'm here now, and I'm still moving. I would like to continue to get an education because there are other areas that I'm interested in that will develop me as a businesswoman. For instance, what am I doing with my various income revenue streams? I want to invest in property, but I can't get into a space that I do not understand, so I'm studying property development this year. So it really just is about, yes, you can give me a round of applause. So it really just is about what resources, what tools do you have available to you. And if you do not have any resources and you do not have any tools, you're not going to sit there and fold your arms and say, oh, well, I didn't get an education, so therefore, unfortunately, my life is doomed. No. There are some of the most successful people in the world, we all know them by name, don't even have a single degree. They started their businesses in their mother's garages. You know, I'm talking about the Steve Jobses of the world. I'm talking about people who are innovators, who didn't necessarily need to go get a degree and fall into a systematic approach to acquiring success.
So I think what you're touching on is innovation.
Innovation.
Right? The same thing that's happening here with me. I literally wanted to have a show like this.
Yeah.
And I thought, actually, I can actually do this.
There you go.
Yeah,
you
so
didn't
it's
need
about
to
innovation more than anything.
Yeah, you didn't need to get licensing from the SABC. You didn't need to get commissioned by ETV. You are doing your thing. You're going to own your platform on YouTube. People get paid nowadays to have their own YouTube channels. And for God's sake, the broadcasters will find you on your way. They will approach you.
Clicks fingers.
Absolutely. It is done. Every night when I'd gotten home, this show came on after One Day Leader. I didn't know her name. She had an amazing box cut. She was dark and beautiful and so articulate. And I said, there's a young lady, I don't know who she is, good luck in finding her, but please go, you don't even have to audition this woman, I've seen her. Her name, I have no idea what it was at the time. And I got a phone call about 5 months later, after the recording of the 3rd season of One Day. I'd already moved on with my life, I wasn't really keeping track of what was going on. Lo and behold, it's a young lady saying, hi Masechaba, this is Tumelo Mututwane. And I just wanted to thank you so much for what you have done for me. You have no idea. She said that one day she was at work and suddenly a team of people came in looking for the lady who presents Sunday Live. So everyone pointed to Tumelo and they approached her and said, well, Masechaba Ndlovu wants you to take over the 3rd season of One Day Leader because she says we don't even have to audition you, you got it. So she said she couldn't believe it. Now here's why this is such an amazing story. When, as luck would have it, at some point down the line, about a year later or so, we were both booked to host an event with the president.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a fundraiser to raise funds for education for higher learning students, right? And so after that event, we became friends. And then when I dropped her off once at home, her mother literally burst into tears. She said, do you know that Tumelo Mututwane used to watch you when she was in high school? She would sit by the TV like this and watch you on television. And she said, that woman, she said you inspired her hairstyle, you inspired her presenting style. She would emulate you every day. And little did we know that we had come full circle.
Yeah.
And when I've hit some challenges in my life, like the difficulties I went through with Power FM, she would be the first person that I call and that I cry to.
Oh.
So the roles are literally reversed.
Yeah. It's funny that you speak about Tumelo. Tumelo is also a close friend of mine. So what happened with me was that I was coming in as her, so she was leaving a show called Sisters at the time on Soweto TV, which is where I started presenting. And when she left, I came in, and at the time I had like, borderline she's called, I was that girl. And she looked for me, she looked for my name, and she tweeted me. I had never been on TV, it was my first time. I used to sit and present like this, Masechaba. I used to slouch, my mannerisms were so, I was just awkward, because it was my first TV gig. And she tweeted me, and she said, if there's anyone that knows this girl, Viwe Gxwala, I hope she's on Twitter or anything like that. I'm so proud of you, my honey. Thank you so much for stepping into my shoes and being and holding it down. Like literally, she also had the same fears that I hope you guys get a presenter that is credible and also that understands that the show is not about her. Ooh. The show is about sisters.
Yes.
And she said, you were spot on. You were just that girl. And so when you speak about that with Tumelo is amazing. She's one of a kind. And I think it's an energy thing as well with you guys.
It's an energy thing.
It's just an energy thing. When luck meets preparation and when the time is right and when the energy is pure,
that's what happens when you open a door.
Yeah.
Because you are building a legacy that will come back and reinvest itself in you. So I hope people start to look at it as an investment, as a spiritual, emotional investment,
Sure.
As a life investment to our people, to the world, as opposed to our children.
Yeah.
As opposed to it being, oh God, I've got to help somebody else.
Yeah.
I've got to drag somebody along. That's the wrong way to look at it.
What's a different way of us unpacking this when we're speaking about opening up the industry? Don't you guys think so? Actually, we've got a practical example as to what she was speaking about.
Yeah.
That it's actually a state of being, a state of consciousness of lack, where you think everything is about lack.
Yes.
Where you're in survival mode, and then you actually do get a practical example to say that actually, if your consciousness is about abundance, if you do want abundance in your life, if you do think you are worthy of abundance, then the opportunities, the situations, the circumstances meet you where you are.
Exactly.
I think that's an amazing revelation.
Absolutely. Round of applause.
Okay. Alright, so we're speaking about, obviously you're a woman, I'm a woman, Tumelo's a woman, and she's a nice case in point to refer back to, right? With women, when it comes to societal standards, someone was actually speaking to me about this and said, isn't it funny that we are prepped in society to actually compete against each other? It's the stress.
As women, especially.
As women, yeah. And my team is predominantly male, flawless. Our communication is on point. We get each other 1,000%. And I won't lie, guys, I've had so many challenges working with women. I do want to bring in more women. I do want us to be empowered because there's something powerful about the feminine energy. There are things that I feel I bring value to in our team, and so do they. And I started thinking to myself, is there a practical way where we can bring these two energies together, where we have the same objective? But that won't work when we ourselves are in the mindset of competing with each other. And it's so entrenched, it's so subconscious, even more so in entertainment.
I think now that we are aware of it as females, we can no longer afford to blame men for setting us up against each other.
No, we can't.
And secondly, I realize that if you look at the people who are that way, it is usually the people who are not purpose-driven. When you are purpose-driven, you fully comprehend in your spirit that your position is bigger than you, and it's not even about you. So when you have a bigger picture in your mind, you do not adopt a superstar mentality. You humble yourself. You don't even need to humble yourself. You are humble. And at the end of the day, you know that it takes teamwork to make the dream work. So I think that we need to breed more purpose-driven individuals in order to be more efficient, more effective, and also work as a collective.
Sure, yeah, that's powerful, right? I never thought of it like that. And I think it's our time, you know, it's time for women to harvest, man. We've planted the seeds. The women of 1956, the trailblazers, I know that we are representing them right now, where our grandmothers, you know, they've done things for us in our name, for us, for this generation. And I often wonder to myself, how can we then carry on with that? Because we don't have the opportunities they had, and we don't have a voice like they had. They might have had a voice in other ways, but it was a thing of not in my name, not in my children's name, not in our generation's name. And I want to allude back to the point of the Me Too campaign that's happening right now. You guys know of the Me Too campaign, right? It's prevalent in our industry, obviously, and it's a big deal right now in the United States, and especially was spoken about profoundly at the Golden Globes. That's why Oprah was like, everyone was like, Oprah for president. Yeah, because that speech was phenomenal. And I started wondering to myself, are we at that level, Masechaba, in our industry, where we can have women that come up and say, me too, and not in my name, and this is what happened to me, and there is no need for bedroom auditions. There is no reason for you to put up with just disgusting behavior from male counterparts who think that you need to bring yourself down, to bring your dignity down so that you can actually secure a job.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
We're not ready for it?
No, we're ready. We're just not at that level. We're not there yet. Because we're still, I don't even want to reference history and make an excuse for such behavior. But the fact of the matter is that our women, especially our young women, are so desperate to be successful, or to be known, or to have a career, or to be significant in some way or another in their lives, that they would do absolutely anything. They would do anything for it. We were speaking about social media, we touched on it just briefly. Now there's the rise of these slay queens, these passport girls. I don't give a damn what people choose to do with their lives, you know, each to his own, but there is a lack of understanding of what that life entails. So people don't know that when you sell your soul to the devil, you sold yourself forever. That's it. They don't know that these are abusive situations that they're getting themselves into, and that it's very difficult to get out.
Don't you think, but because it's been normalized? because of the way it's portrayed. It's portrayed as sexy, you know. I'm taking my own decision about my own body, and I'm making a decision about my own body and my own thoughts, and I'm allowed to do that. And it's portrayed as something that's quite liberal. I'm sexually fluid. I can do this. I take hold of my decisions as a woman.
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I think there's a need for survival. I think, honestly, the girls that fall into these traps because of poverty and because of a lack. Not being able to go to school, not being able to provide for your family. There's a socio-economic issue. But there's also the issue of girls just wanting nice life. Let's just call a spade a spade. You are already in university. I don't give a damn if you have to eat noodles every single day of your life, or if you have to eat baba and drink water and go to sleep. Just get the damn education and stop wanting the fancy weaves and flying to Dubai. These men will make you have sex with them without a condom, because you can't negotiate safe sex if you are being bought. And that's the fact of the matter. So you're destroying your life. So the long and short of it is, you know, I feel for the women who feel like they have no choice. I feel like there's always a choice. I empathize with them. But also, hi man, how do you man?
Like our baby. And it's actually quite a short time compared to the rest of your life. You can always make up for the next time in the next 10 years.
Thank you.
When you're speaking about honestly, you can get the pedicure in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
When you speak about all of these things, I just want to wrap it up. You know, everything that you've spoken about and you've consolidated is because you are a woman that is able to lead herself, and that's why we call you at events such as these, because you've got authentic leadership qualities. Nobody can teach you that. As I said, they emanate from you. So I am so passionate about women. Okay, guys, I'm not sidelining you. I'm just bringing in the women. But because we need to work together, right, guys? We need to work together. The guys, you do your bit, we do our bit, and we work to a common goal, and we build, we prosper together, right? So you don't want a woman who's in a state of lack, right? Yeah. So when it comes to that, you know, when we speak about leadership and self-leading, it's about time that we sit in strategic positions and make decisions at the top of the table, at the head of the table.
Absolutely.
We need more of that represented. We need more young females represented, thinking in that state of consciousness with those quality thoughts, so that as to be able to also open up doors to other young women, other females, especially of our color.
I absolutely agree with what you said. Consciousness is everything. I also feel that the one missing element, the one conversation we're not having, is how women perpetually victimize themselves.
Of course.
I'm not saying that there are no bad men. I'm just saying that there are bad people. There are bad women, there are bad men. But at what point do we actually begin to say, this is my life, I am here to make a positive difference to society. I came here for everything, and I'm not going to walk in a boardroom and interact with my colleagues based on my gender. That's the one thing, that's the one single thing that I think, thank goodness, I've never been conscious of myself as a female in the world. When I go in to negotiate contracts or I'm going in for proposals, I operate in very male-dominated environments. I work on radio with mostly men. I am surrounded by mostly men in my business team. I go into meetings with men, because men are still the ones who are holding the purse strings when it comes to a lot of things. But because I've never had that thing called I'm a woman and I'm going to be sitting at a table with men and you know, submissive. No, I don't know if it's got to do with the fact that I was raised by a very strong man who made me very strong. So I played with the boys when I was younger. I went toe to toe with them. I'm not afraid of them. I birthed them. Hello.
You birthed? I mean,